Until you learn to master your emotions, you'll always fall into a state of collapse when you feel like you're being criticized. Now, healthy masculinity is about mastery. So, mastering your inner game of emotional regulation is key to creating attraction, success, and contentment in your life. I was doing a coaching session recently, and I had a profound conversation with a client about the topic of emotional regulation and its transformative power in your relationships and in your own self-awareness. Today, I wanted to share with you some of the key insights from that session to help you harness these lessons and change your life. First thing you have to do is really understand your emotional triggers and your core beliefs. See, we often react to situations due to deep-seated beliefs and past experience rather than what's going on in the moment. Now, these beliefs often revolve around feelings of being inadequate, such as I'm not good enough or I feel like a failure. Classic nice guy stuff. Now, my client was sharing with me an example of a family dinner where his wife commented about the volume of his music, and it triggered in him the shame and defensiveness. But through self-awareness, he was able to recognize this reaction and how it was tied to a core belief that he was wrong for enjoying things his way. And by practicing emotional regulation, he paused, he breathed, and he responded calmly rather than reacting defensively. This was a huge win for him. Recognizing our triggers and understanding their roots is crucial because we have to delve into the internal landscape, identify the challenges and these long-held beliefs, and see them as just stories that we've internalized rather than the truth, such as I'm wrong for enjoying the things that I enjoy. The key to emotional regulation is practicing self-soothing. Now, many of us struggle with self-soothing, but it's an essential skill to the emotional regulation. Nice guys in particular often lack this ability, leading to anxiety and dependence on external validation. Now, my client learned to soothe himself through focusing on inner work and practice. He began by simply breathing and using some of the exercises that we worked on in our session, and he was able to calm his nervous system during these stressful moments. By taking a deep breath and relaxing his muscles, he shifted from this form of reactivity into a more grounded one. He was able to regulate, and this truly was a game changer in his interactions with his partner because typically in the past, that hasn't been the case. So really learning to self-soothe is about reclaiming control over your emotional state. Now, it involves recognizing when our nervous system is triggered, and we got to take proactive steps to calm ourselves down. This is why the power of breath is so important. Breathing is such a powerful yet simple tool in emotional regulation. Now, my client and I, we explored various techniques, especially diaphragmatic breathing, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system and provides relaxation. The client was incorporating these techniques during the stressful moment, which also helped him to stay out of that fight or flight and remain in his higher self. When you're in a heightened emotional state, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. But by consciously slowing your breath and breathing deeply from your diaphragm, you signal to your brain that you're safe. This reduces the anxiety symptoms. Now, practicing these things in the situation helped him stay calm, but he had also developed a practice outside the situation, just a daily practice, and that overall improved his anxiety levels, his emotional resilience, and it helped him remember, oh, I'm starting to feel a little flooded here. Let's do some breathing. Let's step back and let's think about what's happening here. What is the narrative that I'm listening to? What is the criticism that I feel like I'm having? Now, this brings up another point of distinguishing between criticism and complaint. Now, as nice guys, we're hypersensitive to criticism and complaints. We've spent our lifetime avoiding other people's criticisms because if you're criticized, you're not feeling validated. So we do whatever we can to not be criticized. However, sometimes we get confused between what's a criticism and what's a complaint. We have to learn to differentiate between criticism and complaints because this is going to change how you perceive and you respond to feedback. Now, I've seen this happen a lot with the guys that I work with, and it's especially true for myself. See, I interpret any kind of feedback as a personal attack, and this is due to my upbringing. But when I'm able to distinguish the difference between a complaint, which is just a preference or desire, and a criticism, which is an attack on my character, he can respond more constructively. It's okay for people to have a complaint. It's just a preference. What's not okay is when people attack your character. And so if we can learn to distinguish between those two things, recognizing that a complaint is just an opinion and we can either accept it or reject it, or analyze it and see, is this been an attack on my character? And if it is, then you want to respond with boundaries. Now, one of the ways we build emotional resilience is through what I call emotional Aikido. Okay. Emotional Aikido is a metaphor for handling emotional attacks. Like in the martial art, it involves redirecting the energy of the criticism or the negativity, and instead of absorbing it or reacting to it defensively, we simply move past it. My client practiced this by acknowledging his wife's comment about the music without defensiveness, and he turned it into a light-hearted acknowledgement of their different preferences and simply said, yeah, I like my music loud. I like to feel like I'm at a concert. The technique of emotional Aikido is helpful in high-stress situations. It allows you to remain grounded and centered. It's not about avoiding conflict, but it's about responding from a place of strength and calm. Emotional Aikido is also a proactive approach to creating harmony in your relationships. By modeling different ways of interacting, you can actually inspire others. The ultimate goal of mastery over our emotional states involves not only regulating one's own emotional states, but also learning to guide others towards calm and a balanced state. So if you want to become an integrated man, the shift towards self-validation and emotional regulation is critical. It's about recognizing your worth, setting boundaries, taking responsibility for your own happiness and well-being, self-validating, acknowledging your own feelings and experiences and needs without required external approval. Now, having a support system is crucial. Having a teacher, a friend, a mentor, a therapist to be able to discuss your feelings and your experiences can provide invaluable support. It can also help you create a daily practice around this emotional Aikido. So if you're looking for a support system, contact me at chuckchapman.com. I offer a free 20-minute consultation, and I can help you find the kind of support that you're looking for. Thanks for joining me. If you like this video, please thumbs up, hit the bell, subscribe. It really helps the algorithm, and I appreciate everybody who takes the time to do that. So go on, master your emotions, live with integrity and purpose, and with a wild, open heart. Until next time.